Hello ratbags, it's Jade, welcome to an Access show. I give you everything you need to know about survival games, early access games, anything that's interesting coming to console. Today is pretty big news for a lot of players and a lot of people desperate to see DAYZ finally appear on the PlayStation 4. Sony has kind of dropped DAYZ as a release date of next week, just like I called it, guys. I've mentioned a few times in my top 15 survival games you can play, and the many DAYZ update videos I've done over the last year, that DAYZ would be coming to PlayStation 4 at the beginning of June. Well, it looks like I was wrong, but only by a couple of days. It's going to be coming on May the 29th. Every gaming news outlet is basically reporting it, but this is what the blog says. The drop new PlayStation games for May 28th. And here it is coming on May the 29th. The post-Soviet country of Chernobyl is struck by an unknown virus, turning majority of population into frenzied infected, fighting over resources have bred a hostile mentality among survivors, driving what's left of humanity to collapse. You are one of the few immune to the virus. How will you go to survive? How far will you go to survive? So this is obviously absolutely massive news. And I know so many people are going to be desperate to play it. I would say though, before you do, check out my guides and tutorials I did on the Xbox. But also make sure you check out my most recent review 1 month ago about DAYZ on Xbox. If you're expecting something crazily different because it's PlayStation, think again. It's pretty much going to be exactly the same game. There's some good points to it, there's some bad points. And overall, I have been a little bit disappointed how DAYZ has turned out on Xbox. But I just know so many of you are going to be hyped up for the PlayStation 4 release that you'll definitely want to play it for yourself. But definitely give that video a check. I will leave the link in the description box down below. There's absolutely nothing about DAYZ coming on the actual Twitter website, which is where they give a huge amount of news and information about updates. The PC version has just recently had a brand new update, adding a new vehicle to the game, a new sniper rifle, and a bunch of other stuff. I will give you the lowdown of what to expect about DAYZ on the PlayStation 4, what exactly content it's going to have in it and what content is only on PC at the moment, and whether or not again it's going to be worth your time. DAYZ is a pretty expensive game at the moment on console. I can't see that changing. Currently in the UK it's £41.74 on Microsoft Store, and likelihood is that it's going to be around the same price for the PlayStation Network. Of course, it is digital only. There are no physical copies of DAYZ as far as I know. Also, Microsoft do tend to do this now. They sell games digitally at all sort of odd prices depending where you are. So I am expecting DAYZ to retail at around £40 or maybe £42, which is still, again, a little bit of an odd number. But like I said, Microsoft in the UK takes into account some different taxes, and so it doesn't charge you the full exact amount. But I will keep you up to date with exactly how much it's going to cost and whether or not there's any extras. But I really can't see there being anything else added to it. Xbox launch was pretty bare bones in terms of what you got. The updates for DAYZ during the game preview were pretty much bone bare. They eventually caught up to PC, but they really were not focusing on maybe the problems and issues that were affecting Xbox as much as people wanted to. Now this is fairly normal for game and early access games, and it was pretty short in early access. It's natural over the course of a game preview or early access to see wipes happening to characters, but even since then there has still been some problems on PC with characters being wiped, as well as some rumours of duping on Xbox. So I really am concerned about it coming to PlayStation so soon. The developers have always slated 2019 as the release date, but we originally thought it might be a little bit later, but it does look like I was right. They have got that 1 year exclusivity with Xbox, and now it is ending. They will be able to release it on the PlayStation. It is a little bit mad. A game that spent 6 years in development, from mods all the way through to a full standalone game on PC, through many changes, creative director leaving, the studio nearly shutting down the project, to finally having a release and actually stealthily releasing on Xbox last year. Previously, the developers have shown and talked about the game running on the PlayStation. They've shown it off at various game shows that they've been to. Particularly, they went to Eurogamer last year where they were showing it off on the PlayStation console. But they literally signed an exclusivity deal with Microsoft for 1 year. And of course, June is literally the end of that year. So how hyped are you about DAYZ? Now you've seen it running on a console, not just PC, what do you feel about the game? Are you going to be buying this? Is this a day one purchase? Or are you going to be waiting for reviews? I don't want to be too negative, but I have to say that DayZ definitely isn't the game that I think a lot of people expect. It's definitely a real hardcore survival game, and there's certain aspects of it that are quite outdated. But overall, I was left a little bit disappointed. DayZ can be a whole host of fun, and I think on console, it still is one of the games you should own if you really love survival games. Mainly because there aren't that many. But DayZ is still undergoing lots of problems and issues at the moment. It launched as 1.0, but it certainly wasn't ready. Not on Xbox and not even on PC. They've been slowly adding more content, and a lot of this has been on their roadmap. It's only 10 days ago that they announced they wouldn't be following through on their 2019 roadmap. Now DayZ's had plenty of roadmaps in the past and they've failed to hit them consistently. But in the last year they did improve that massively. They committed to getting the version on PC out of early access before Christmas time, and that's what they did. They literally released it, I think it was like on Christmas Eve or the day before, and they released the Xbox version out of game preview just this March. But from their blog post, they've literally said they don't want to keep anything more open-ended more because they're really worried about not hitting some of the stuff that they want to add into the game. So as I said, I will show you exactly what you can and can't do currently in the Xbox version, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be exactly the same as the PlayStation version. But there is a reason why there is so much negativity around DayZ, and it feels like the PC community especially feel like a lot of content is still missing. And not only the content, but the game isn't as stable as it should be for a game that is full priced. So I'm giving you a sneak peek of some of this stuff. Don't expect this to be in the game. I reckon it's still going to be at least an update or two behind, just like Xbox is. Just a heads up, normally it can be between 4 weeks, maybe even a bit longer for the Xbox version to come out. So in the future, when we receive content updates, don't expect to get the PlayStation or the Xbox updates at the same time. Just for a little bit of backstory, it was meant to come out 4 years ago. That was one of the original release dates they slated for DayZ, and it was going to be coming to the PlayStation first. DayZ has one of the worst and up and down cycles of any game I've ever seen being made, but in the last 6 months it's had some of the best numbers it's had in over 4 years. In fact, right now it's beating Scum by about 5-to-1 ratio. If you don't know, Scum is the next supposedly big survival game, very much based on a lot of the same mechanics and gameplay loops of DayZ. And that game died a death, even though it sold over 1 million copies in a month last year. No one is playing that game currently. So now is probably even more of a good time for DayZ to launch and keep up the good work they have done. Like I said, don't want to be too negative, but I do feel like the game has definitely got some way to go before being a full valued retail game at $50. Right now, base building has only just been implemented in the most basic of terms. You can now add your own sort of camps and you can build wooden palisades or towers, and that's pretty much it. They've talked about barricades in the past, but again, that is something they haven't actually worked or finished off yet. DayZ is called a walking simulator for very good reason. You will be spending a lot of time running around a map, looting lots of different houses and finding nothing but shirt after shirt or baseball cap after baseball cap. But there is a good loop, there is a good mechanic to it, and when you get into it, finding a sweet piece of equipment or a decent armor piece or a gun can be really, really great. But at the moment there's a lot of problems as well with server hopping. Your character can be transferred to any server, and so players are jumping over from server to server to get more loot. These are just a handful of the things that I think I need to let you guys know about if you're getting too excited for it. Let me show you what DayZ is currently like. I'll be doing lots of videos in the coming weeks. Bohemia, the developers, have got a lot going on. They're about to launch Vigor, which is a free-to-play sort of loot and shoot game on Xbox, which is an Xbox exclusive. They've also just announced brand new DLC for Arma 3, and they've obviously got more projects in the works with some unannounced games coming. So they've got a lot going on, and it still feels like their team that's working on DayZ is still pretty small comparatively. It has been a slightly different studio that has ported over the Xbox and the PlayStation 4 versions. That's why stuff is always a little bit behind. So there we go. That's what you need to know about DayZ right now. Expect it to be £40, so that's what, $50? Expect it to be an update or two behind the PC version. And expect it to still maybe not run as well as you would expect. That's a lot of expectations. Go and give my review a little look take a gander at why DayZ is an important game, but why it's also a game that's been left behind by many others. And stay tuned, I will be giving you information about it coming to PlayStation 4, and I am curious to see if it is any different running on a PlayStation compared to an Xbox. If you want to keep up to date with everything to do with survival games, open world games, make sure you've got notifications on. Come and join my Discord. We're running Conan Exile servers, Ark Survival Evolved servers, and I've regularly been playing Dauntless lately because I'm really enjoying it. Until next time, Ratbags, I will see you maybe in Chernarus.